Hey everyone, this is Reaping Remnants, and here I'm going to show you the Trinity Crossbow. I'll also be showing the negatives and the positives of this gun and ranking it. So this is my very first review of this gun, and if I sound nervous, I am, because this is my time I do not do voices. I do not like my voice. But anyway, I'll be going over this weapon. And today you can see how this weapon can effectively destroy bosses, normal enemies, and you can do great things with these builds with it as well. Although it has some drawbacks with how you want to build them, because it can show some negative side effects with it. You can see me using it in the training course where it does a lot of damage, and it is maxed out. And if you want to max it out, you just reacquire it over and over again. You can just go back and forth. When you launch the first area, have the amulet on, and just acquire it that way. You can just get it for free, and it would be no issue whatsoever. And I'll have a card that'll show you the link to where I did it. And I'm going to show you how this can destroy bosses with just the Bulletstorm perk. And this is Survivor difficulty, where I used to just farm stuff, where it makes it easy and just everything. As you can see, I just destroyed that boss with less than no damage as much from me. I mean, it may have gotten hit just once, but that was it. Next, I'm going to show you what it looks like on Apocalypse difficulty with Faerun.
Alright, let's do this.
Now, Faerun is a complicated boss in the Blossom area, and he can just go crazy on you. And the crossbow can just either go full hectagon or it will mess up. But you can see I dropped his health bar almost to half. And you're not supposed to get to half. You're supposed to be like 1/4 of his body health. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. And he will just drop. Like, he'll do this stance and then just drop the swords. But what will happen instead is I'll activate my Bulletstorm again, and you can see me just drop him again to his third phase. Now, the third phase will always be tricky. It will always be tricky with the crossbow, because he will just be really agitated and resist everything as he just winds up. And he just flies around and teleports, and it's just obnoxiously annoying. But if you are patient and just wait for, if your Bulletstorm runs out, you can just wait for it. You just by dodging and just making sure you stay alive. Or you can be like me, where I just regularly shoot him. And that's what I did for a while. I just rarely shot him and made sure that I can at least keep some damage up, and when it gets time to deactivate Bulletstorm, at least he'll be done faster compared to what you would do on if you had the Bulletstorm perk from the Gunslinger. So as I said before, we're going to be reviewing the positives and the negatives of this weapon, and it has a lot of negative drawbacks to it, which is the first, it needs Bulletstorm from the Gunslinger archetype, and that is at level 10. If you do not have it, it will cause a lot of issues, and it will not be full auto, where you do not get the right DPS. And it needs the right DPS for the right builds too. If you do not have the right build to reach the DPS, it will have more issues on it than anything else. It is slow without Bulletstorm and can be easily overrun by enemies. So if you're dealing with a lot of hordes and it will just come at you, if you do not have Bulletstorm just to deal with them, they will overrun you and they will eliminate you just as fast as possible. And it is not fun, because you just lost all that progress and you gotta go back and forth. You might need to change your amulet or archetype for multiple Bulletstorms, Like, there is a hyper conduit conductor, it's something like that, amulet, I cannot remember the name. Or you have to use the invoker as your primary archetype to get more. It is very slow, and the bolt reload is very slow too, which can lead to your demise, and it causes more issues if it's really slow, and it has more problems there with it. And if you don't land crits on bosses, you can't really delete them. So if you want to delete a boss really, really fast, it needs to have at least a crit phase. So the first boss in the Forgotten Kingdom DLC, or the Floating Eye that does a lot of madness around, since it doesn't have a very consistent crits, you can't really delete the boss with this crossbow, so they have negative problems. Now let's look at the positive outlooks. You can have infinite ammo with Bullet Storm activated, where the first shot you have, it's automatically infinite ammo. Sorry, I cannot talk. It has infinite ammo without the need to reload or anything like that, and this is without the gunslinger, without its primary. It does pair well with the hunter archetype to help max out DPS, but like I said, you might need to change your amulet, you need to change your amulet to get more of the hunter archetype to help balance out the damage and to delete bosses. Now, having the gifted trait can help the duration of Bulletstorm too, and the gifted trait is from the invoker archetype, which you have to have the invoker maxed out. But regardless, it can mow regular enemies and mini bosses without hitting their crits. So if you've ever dealt with a mini boss, or like an enemy that has a lot of armor in Geisha, it will just destroy their armor. Since it's a fast gun too, it is lower difficulty friendly for fast world completions like survival. That's where I always farm. Or you can go veteran and make a build for it to go to Apocalypse before you do anything. So at least you can figure out what you want to do with it. But it's really, really friendly for lower difficulties. And for me, it was perfect. It was just awesome in Survivor, where I was just farming a lot of stuff, and it just deleted everything just to help. Now the Trinity Crossbow, it is awesome for boss deletion, but it can cause problems. And since there's a lot of negatives, I give it an A tier. And it's perfectly fine as an A tier weapon. That means it's not a throwaway. However, if the developers decide they want to eliminate the negative effects of the infinite ammo, and for it to be really, really rapid, it will turn into an F tier really, really quick. And that's not something you want to deal with a gun that is perfectly awesome. Actually, it is really, really good, since it can deal with a lot of ads, and it can deal with bosses faster, and it can make it where you can deal with a lot of things, so it doesn't cause more problems way ahead during your gameplay. Now you can decide if you want to run in an area, but you also have to be careful, because if you don't have Bulletstorm, or if there's just too many enemies that are just wily, teleporty, or anything like that, this gun is not in the right for it, and it just depends on the environment. So in Geisha, it is, unless you're dealing with a lot of mini bosses that are not armor protected, or they can have armor protection, but it depends on how they act. And if they act way smoother than usual, you can both Bulletstorm them down. But if there's just too many enemies that are just all lined up and just way too much of them, or they teleport and do kind of crazy things, you will meet your demise with this gun. So that's why it gives me an A rank, and it also has all the negative stuff. But if the developers nerf this weapon, like I said, it is not worth getting. All the positives will be counteracted. This would be a throwaway weapon, and it would not be fun to use if they kept the rapid fire of how it is right now, but just made the bullets go actually down instead of just keeping the infinite ammo. It would probably be at least stable, but it would be still not fun to use since it's way too slow. And the reload speed, it would have to be increased if they did that. And if they would have to do a lot of work to make sure it's not gonna just go down in the ground, because this is a fun gun to use, and it is so much fun to delete bosses and Apocalypse, where a lot of guns can do that anyway, because I use Corrupted Deceits, which is just make sure I get the crits regardless of where I hit. But at least this way, it's make sure it's not a throwaway weapon. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I will be sure to show more Remnant 2 videos. This is also my first review, and this is my first time just doing recording really at all. Because I do not like my voice, but hey, what can you do? Sometimes you need to show your voice to give information. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you.